Why a narcissistic woman treats you better after you pull away. The moment you pull away from a narcissistic woman, something strange begins to happen. She starts treating you better, almost as if she has suddenly become the person you always hoped she would be. But this shift is not love, and it's not growth, it's strategy. Because in her world, attention is power, and when you withdraw yours, you disrupt the very system she uses to control you. A narcissistic woman thrives on emotional dominance. And your presence, your effort, and your validation feed that dominance every single day. So when you step back, when you stop chasing, when you stop explaining, something inside her gets triggered deeply. It's not that she suddenly realizes your worth in a healthy way, it's that she feels the loss of control over you. And for someone who builds their identity around control, that loss feels like a threat to their entire emotional stability. This is why she starts behaving differently. Not because she has changed, but because the dynamic has changed. She senses that you are no longer predictable, no longer available, no longer easy to manipulate. And unpredictability is something a narcissist cannot tolerate for long. So what does she do? She adapts, but only temporarily. She becomes sweeter, more attentive, more affectionate, almost like the early stages of the relationship when everything felt magical. She may text you more, compliment you more, or suddenly show interest in your life in ways she never did before. This is not coincidence, it is calculated emotional bait designed to pull you back into the cycle. Because when you pull away, you create scarcity. And scarcity increases perceived value, especially in the mind of someone who took you for granted. Your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. Your silence becomes more powerful than your explanations ever were. And this shift forces her to reevaluate her position, not emotionally, but strategically. She begins to think, why is he no longer reacting? Why is he not chasing me like before? Has he found someone else? These questions don't come from love, they come from ego. Because a narcissistic woman doesn't just want attention. She wants to be the center of your emotional universe. When you stop orbiting around her, she feels the distance immediately, and that distance threatens her sense of superiority and control. So she moves closer, not to connect, but to regain control. She mirrors the behavior that once made you fall for her. She studies what worked before and reuses it like a script. This is why her better treatment feels so convincing. Because it is tailored specifically to your emotional weaknesses. She knows what you crave, what you miss, what you hoped she would be. And in this phase, she gives you just enough of it to make you doubt your decision to pull away. But here is the truth most people miss. This better version of her only exists when you are emotionally unavailable. The moment you start leaning in again, the moment you start investing again, the dynamic slowly resets. Her effort fades, her interest declines, and the old patterns begin to return. Because the goal was never to build something healthy. The goal was to restore the previous power imbalance, where you were the one chasing, the one explaining, the one trying to prove your worth, and she was the one deciding how much attention, affection, or validation you deserved. Pulling away disrupts that imbalance, and that's why it forces her to act differently. Not better in a genuine sense, but better in a temporary tactical sense. It's a performance, not a transformation. And this is where many people get trapped again. They see the change and think, maybe she finally understands me. They interpret the effort as growth instead of recognizing it as manipulation. And slowly, they start lowering their guard. They respond more, invest more, open up again. And without realizing it, they step right back into the same cycle they tried to escape. Because narcissistic dynamics are not broken by emotional conversations. They are broken by consistent boundaries and emotional detachment. When you pull away and stay away, you maintain your power. But when you pull away and then return the moment she improves, you teach her exactly how to control you. You teach her that she doesn't need to change permanently, just temporarily. And that is the most dangerous lesson you can give a narcissistic person. So the real question is not why she treats you better when you pull away. The real question is, what will you do when she does? Will you see it for what it is? A reaction to lost control? Or will you mistake it for genuine love and fall back into the illusion? Because once you understand this pattern, everything becomes clearer. Her behavior stops feeling confusing and starts feeling predictable. And when you reach that level of awareness, You stop reacting emotionally. You stop chasing validation from someone who only gives it when they are about to lose you. You start valuing consistency over intensity. You start choosing peace over emotional highs and lows. And most importantly, you stop confusing temporary kindness with real change.